It was the biggest, most divisive trial of 2024. Karen Reed accused of murdering her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Prosecutors said she ran him over in a jealous, alcohol-fueled rage. But the defense painted a different picture, a police cover-up, spearheaded by the lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor. The case divided the community and has a lot of people taking a closer look at police, including those connected to two other high-profile cases in the same county. Tonight, we'll take a look at Trooper Proctor and other alleged dirty cops and the impact it will have on the trial of accused wife killer Brian Walsh and the murder of Sandra Birchmore. Things are not good in Massachusetts, I'll tell you that right now. Things are not good. They're not the way they should be. You know, people who work in law enforcement and for the government, you want to be able to trust them. You want to believe in them. But I don't know if that's where we are. And it all really started, well, it's the Karen Reed case. It took on a life of its own and has really changed things. But when you really zero in on it, on the role of law enforcement and all this, it always comes back to one person from that trial. Trooper Michael Proctor. Remember what happened? Take a look.
You also told ADA Lally that you, quote, did not have relationships or know members of the Albert or McCabe families, correct?
Correct.
And that's just not true, is it? You did know, you do know members of the Albert family. Isn't that right?
It's different from having a relationship with people.
But what about part of the question, did not have relationships or know members of the Albert or McCabe families? How about that part of the question?
Well, that's lumped in with the McCabes. I don't know the McCabe family, sir.
As the lead investigator and the case agent, you're aware it's also your responsibility and your obligation to investigate all potential individuals, right? All potential suspects.
Yes.
You're obligated to investigate anybody who would have a motive, a means, and an opportunity to commit the crime or the offense, correct?
Correct.
Motive includes anything from financial gain to could just be revenge, right?
Yes.
Could be a lover's quarrel, correct?
Yes.
Or it could be someone who's interested in someone romantically, correct?
Could be an argument inside of a vehicle.
So you became aware pretty early on that Mr. Higgins at least had a motive to want to visit harm on John O'Keefe, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No, absolutely not.
Well, you knew he had this flirtatious relationship with Karen Reed, is that right?
Yes.
You became aware that he ignored, you saw the text messages, you became aware that Karen Reed actually ignored text messages from Mr. Higgins while at the Waterfall Bar and Grill with John O'Keefe, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yes.
And you're aware that at 12:20 a.m., Brian Higgins sent a text message to John O'Keefe, coaxing him to 34 Fairview, correct?
Objection.
Your assessment, personal assessment, that Karen Reed had struck this officer with a car, gave you license to call her a
It was my emotions that gotten the best of me.
and you called her a whack job. Gave you license to call her that too.
Yes.
Gave you license to say to your friends, oh, no. She's right?
That's what I wrote.
Gave you license to say that she's a
Again, another disgusting comment.
And then 5051 says, oh, she's skating, right?
Correct.
And what did you write after that?
My response was 0 chance she skated.
And then what did you write?
She's
0 chance she skates. She's right?
correct.
You decided on the 29th of January, 17 hours into this investigation, you decided individually, Trooper Proctor, you're not only going to put it on the girl, you decided you're going to make sure this is cut and dried, and the way you're going to do it is to make sure that she's That's what you were saying.
It was ugly. It was absolutely ugly. It was bad. So what has happened to Trooper Proctor since the trial? Well, July 22nd, 2024, Commonwealth informed counsel in the court that Trooper Proctor had been suspended without pay and was the subject of internal affairs investigation. August 29th, Massachusetts State Police provided an extraction of Proctor's work cell phone to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. September 4th of this year, Massachusetts State Police provided consent from Trooper Proctor's work cloud account to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. Then the Norfolk District Attorney's Office is in the process of ascertaining how to determine what, if any, information on Trooper Proctor's work phone or cloud is discoverable in this or, and this is the most important part, other cases. This wasn't his only case, folks. He's a big deal, or was a big deal in the DA's office in Norfolk County. This case that we've been tracking for quite some time, Brian Walsh, accused wife killer. He's the case lead investigator on that one as well. This is another murder case. Take a look here, what the defense is saying in that case. It's clear, based on the evolving factual record regarding Trooper Proctor, that there exists a lack of supervision, that biased decisions infect the myriad of decisions made during the investigation and prosecutions handled by these law enforcement personnel and the DA. Like, is this going to end up dirtying up the DA as well? How far do the tentacles of this go? And there's another case, too. Sandra Birchmore, the murder of her. A complete copy, this is what the defense wanted, of any documents, correspondence received from the U.S. Attorney or any other federal agency concerning the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office investigation into the death of Sandra Birchmore because of the way they handled the Karen Reed case and the way Trooper Proctor acted. So Sandra Birchmore, who is she? She's a woman who was murdered, and they have pointed the finger at a police officer, Matthew Farwell, who allegedly groomed her and got her pregnant and then killed her. I mean, these are some of the allegations. Take a listen to the U.S. Attorney, Joshua Levy, talking about it.
Good afternoon. On February 4th, 2021, Sandra Birchmore was found dead in her Canton, Massachusetts apartment. The charges filed today in federal court allege that she was in fact murdered by Matthew Farwell 3 days earlier. At the time of her death, Sandra Birchmore was a 23-year-old woman with her entire life ahead of her, and she was pregnant with her first child. We allege that Sandra Birchmore survived years of grooming, statutory rape, and then sexual violence, all at the hands of Matthew Farwell, who was employed throughout their relationship as an officer and then detective for the Stoughton Police Department. And when it became clear to Mr. Farwell that he could no longer control Sandra Birchmore, he allegedly silenced her permanently, ensuring that no one is above the law, protecting the vulnerable people of Massachusetts. That's the highest calling of people in law enforcement. And this case represents those principles. And every day across Massachusetts, thousands of police officers, federal, state, local law enforcement, put their lives on the line to protect the people of Massachusetts. Mr. Farwell violated those principles, and now he faces very grave consequences.
Okay, and that case originally investigated and they were saying it was suicide, but it wasn't suicide, it was murder by the police. That's the allegation now. What's going on in Massachusetts? Let's bring in our local insiders joining us from Massachusetts. One of the lawyers who represented Johnny Depp in his defamation case and partner at Brown Rudnick, Wayne Dennison, is with us. Also joining us, criminal defense attorney Joseph Krowski Jr. All right, Joseph, what's going on in Massachusetts? This is madness. It seems like it could be a field day here. I don't know if you can get 12 people in the box who are going to give the benefit of the doubt to any officer, any DA. I mean, how bad is it?
Hey, things are great up here in Massachusetts.
Well, you're a defense attorney.
That's right. So look, I happened to be in the courtroom the other day. A couple of years ago, the courts in Massachusetts lowered the bar regarding admissibility of misconduct alleged against police officers in other cases. So certainly Attorney Tipton and Porges are duty-bound to go after this information, because to the extent that Proctor's training and experience as an investigator is relevant, certainly this casts, a doubt on that. So they're going after it, but I think judges are really going to be loath to allow Karen Reed in the Karen Reed case to start to bleed into these other cases. But certainly the Walsh case, it seems to be a lot of evidence against him. He might have just caught lightning in a bottle with this information. The judge does, however, have discretion in how much of that evidence comes in. You know, in the Karen Reed trial, one of the things that I think Proctor should have done, showing contrition is one thing, but he should have fought back. Why did he say those disparaging things about Karen Reed? What's important on the flip side of that is out of all of the information and data they got from the extraction, they never got any information that he actually was covering up a crime or conspiring to cover up a crime and point the finger at Karen Reed. So it's going to help Brian Walsh. Now, in the Birchmore case, it's going to hurt because they're going to lump in Proctor with Farwell, and they're going to think that he was covering up for an officer when he deemed it a suicide. So as a defense attorney, it's refreshing because we have been talking about this as long as I've been a lawyer for 25 years, that police officers are human beings, that they're fallible, that they're subject to frailties and corruption. I just wish it didn't take Karen Reed to bring this to light, but I certainly think that Proctor is persona non grata now in the Norfolk County courthouses as it relates to prosecutions of cases.
Wayne Dennison, I was there. I was speaking with people in the crowd. These were folks who you know, they're not active in this area. Like, this wasn't their thing, but they latched onto this case, and the way they explain it when they speak is that the reason we supported Karen Reed, because it could be me next time, right? That's the way they're seeing it. And all these people that are seeing it that way are potential jurors in other cases, number one. And number two, they're the citizens of the community. I mean, to me, there's like almost like an implosion in trusting your local law enforcement, whether it's the state police, your local police, or your local DA.
Well, I think we're going to have to back up a step here, because what we're fighting about right now is access to Proctor's information, the stuff in the cloud, the stuff on his cell phone. And if we back this up just a step, we've already appointed an independent examiner to try to determine whether any of this stuff relates in the broadest of sense to the Walsh investigation and to the Walsh prosecution. And quite frankly, we're talking about the same judge. It's the same judge in the Karen Reed case that is in the Brian Walsh case.
Well, the public doesn't trust, members of the public don't trust her either. That's the other problem. I'm talking about trust in the system here, Wayne. It's so important. If we don't trust our system of justice, and it starts with law enforcement. It starts with law enforcement. Like, if everyone's questioning them from the beginning, then the whole system gets undermined, I think.
Yeah, I understand that it does start with law enforcement, and the duties of law enforcement are clear. The issue here, though, is unlike the Karen Reed case, where the question of her guilt was arguable, and it remains arguable, and we continue to argue about it, we're going to have another trial. This is going to be a very difficult defense case. This is an incredibly hard defense case.
But at the same time, and we're out of time tonight, I'm so sorry, Wayne, we're out of time. But at the same time, we've got the Sandra Birchmore case, which is making headlines. The public's reading about that. It's ruled suicide, and now all of a sudden it's a murder case. And guess who the defendant is? Another police officer. So we're out of time. We're going to do this again. Don't worry, guys. Great to see you. Wayne Dennison, Joseph Krowski Jr. When we come back, yeah, he was, I don't even recognize him. Do you recognize Brian Walsh there? Looks like he had a makeover. Looks like he's a banker now. No, he's a murder defendant. That's next.
Mr. Walsh, on complaint 230318, you are charged on the first day of January 2023 with assault and to beat Arnold Walsh with intent to murder that person. You're also charged with returning of a body hid without lawful authority, did willfully dig up or remove human remains. Not guilty, please be entered.
Do you understand those charges, Mr. Walsh? I do.
Brian Walsh, major character, to say the least. This isn't his first time getting in trouble with the law. But here he's charged with the most serious of charges, the murder of his wife. In court again this week, getting ready for his trial. Take a look.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walsh.
Good afternoon. I think based on the representations of the Commonwealth, both in its communications yesterday and then today, there's a lot of discovery forthcoming, some of which addresses some of our requests, some of which probably don't. So I think it's a waste of our time to argue this extensive motion and memorandum of law. And I was going to explain why we filed such a detailed memorandum of law, but I don't think I need to waste the court's time with that. So I think what we're suggesting is, at least what we're suggesting, is that we come back on December 2nd.
You can see the way he's really sort of cleaned himself up since his first appearance in court. But I want you to hear some of the key evidence in this case against him.
It had become evident that Mr. Walsh was suspecting his wife of having an affair. The oldest child's iPad begins to visit websites concerned how long does it take for a dead body to smell? How long does it take for someone to be missing to be declared dead? He is seen purchasing numerous items, including a Lennox high-tension hacksaw, 48 terry cloth towels, 200 disposable rags, trash bags. In the Swampscott dumpster, they found items, including a set of Volkswagen keys, Anna Walsh's COVID vaccination card. Also located in the dumpster, Your Honor, were rugs. These rugs contain red-brown staining as well, and a piece of a Gucci necklace consistent with one that Anna Walsh wore.
Some compelling evidence here, Kirk, but you've got the whole Proctor issue. He comes in at that point, becomes the lead investigator in this case. Does it change the nature of the case? Does it change the complexion of the case? Or is the evidence still going to just be the evidence, or will it be under a cloud of of Trooper Proctor?
Well, I think two things can be true at the same time, Vinnie. I think the evidence is going to be very strong, but that cloud is still going to be there. I mean, jurors are instructed that they're not supposed to give any more weight or credibility to the testimony of a police officer simply because they're a police officer. I don't know how rigid they are adhering to that. My guess is not very. And so when a police officer comes in, particularly the lead investigator, comes in and says, this is what we found, this is the evidence against him, this is why he's guilty of this crime, and you have all these shenanigans, we'll call them politely, of Trooper Proctor as the lead investigator, that cloud is still going to be there. That credibility is going to be shaken. So that objective evidence that cannot be altered by Proctor is going to have to shine through if they want to convict Mr. Walsh of this crime, because that credibility is completely shaken. And we don't know where the FBI investigation has gone since we left the Karen Reed mistrial months ago.
Nima, is there a way to just leave Proctor out of the Walsh case?
I think you have to own it, Vinnie. And, we started this section, or today's hour, with the Menendez case, but I'm going to go back to another case, which was the OJ case, because I think Proctor is the worst law enforcement witness since Mark Furman. And Court TV covered both those cases. So if anyone wants to go back and watch that testimony, it was terrible. Proctor's testimony was cringeworthy, but I think the mistake the prosecution made in the Karen Reed cases, they didn't get out there and own it and say, we're going to put the investigating officer on the stand. He said some terrible things, some offensive things, some unprofessional things, but that doesn't change the evidence in this case. And the evidence in the Brian Walsh case is overwhelming. The searches, the lies to law enforcement, the DNA, the video surveillance, you really have it all. But what you don't want, Vinnie, is for the defense to put law enforcement on trial like we did in OJ, like we did in Karen Reed, and you don't want it to happen here. So if you get out ahead of that bad evidence, you say that your lead investigator is an unprofessional, terrible person, then maybe you can just focus the jurors' evidence on what matters, which is the evidence.
And Eklund, the other problem is he's received all these suspensions and demotions and everything else. He might not be feeling like he wants to be the strongest state witness at this moment.
If I was his attorney, he'd have to plead the fifth. I don't think it's in his best interest to get on anybody's stand. So I think that they have an unavailable witness, and they're going to have to, like Nima said, own it. That's the only way to do it.
Unbelievable. We're talking about Proctor again. We're talking about Proctor again. How much time do we have? Okay, we're just about out of time. Kirk Nurmi, big thank you. Nima Rahmani, great to see you. Ekla Mercy, great to see you as well. We'll keep an eye on it. You never know what's going to happen up in Massachusetts. In the meantime, when we come back, I will reveal something else that you need to know tonight. Plus, you won't want to miss it coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German, two young girls brutally killed in the woods of Delphi, Indiana. Richard Allen has been charged, but what is the evidence against him? We investigate.
Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan Investigates, coming up next, only on Court TV.
You saying you can't recall what happened that night. If you were me, would you believe you?
Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look at the big board. Alec Baldwin's movie Rust premieres next month, ladies and gentlemen. The movie with the fatal shooting of the original cinematographer. Rust is going to premiere at the Cambridge International Film Festival in Poland sometime between November 16th and the 23rd. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Alec Baldwin will not attend that premiere, despite being the producer and lead actor in all of it. Following the film's director, Joel Souza, and others will hold a unique panel to discuss the victim, Helena Hutchins' unique vision for the film, and they will provide some sort of a tribute to her. That's good to hear. No idea when you'll be able to see it here in the United States. Please take a look at your screens. There's a child who needs your help. This is a missing child. Her name is Maria Cordera Morin. Maria is just 16 years old, missing out of San Antonio, Texas, since September 30th of this year. 16 years old. Take a look at her photo. If you see her, pick up the phone, make a difference, make the call. 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the San Antonio Police Department in Texas. That phone number's on your screen. Let's see if we can get Maria to a safe place tonight. Don't go anywhere. We have another hour of live true crime. Vinnie Politan Investigates is next. In the meantime, please don't forget to hug the kids.